Hey everybody, welcome again to my virtual campfire. Good timing. I just tossed another log here on the campfire, so we've got lots to talk about today. I recently came back from Long Beach, California. I flew out there. My wife and I've mentioned before, we love to go on cruises, so we snuck off and went out of Long Beach. Never been to Long Beach before. I'm going to tell you about that trip, and it's going to connect with a video that I did. I believe I put it out on May the 5th, and it was about young people, about the American dream. The American dream is changing, and young people are no longer able to afford to buy a average size home, and for a lot of different reasons. But I'm going to connect those two things, and I'm going to respond to some of your questions and thoughts about the RV dealers that I work with. You got some questions, and I'm going to be very honest and direct, as I think I always am. So thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, drop a comment. I read everyone. My phone number is on the screen right here. If you want to leave me a voicemail message 24/7, I listen to all of them. I call as many people back as I possibly can. And if you want to drop me an email, that email address is also on the screen right now, as well as in the description down below. So let me tell you first off about going to Long Beach. Fly in. It's California, the weather is beautiful. No wonder people love California for the weather. It was relatively clean. In fact, it was much cleaner than I thought it was going to be. You see these news stories, California's going to hell. Well, according to my Uber driver, California, he says it's on its way to hell. I'm like, explain it to me. So there's like maybe a 20-minute, 25-minute Uber ride from the airport to the cruise ships where they take off. So we talked about a lot of stuff. And we get up to this big, tall bridge, and there are containers, these shipping containers on both sides of the bridge. It's like an ocean of these shipping containers. I mean, I was stunned. And then I'm going, wait a minute, this is one of those ports where everything comes in from overseas, where the boats from China come in and drop off these containers. This is like the receiving point. And then I'm looking, where are all the people? There were no people. There were the cranes, all these enormous tall cranes that could snatch these containers and move them around and put them on 18-wheelers. Nothing going on. Like, what's going on? And the Uber driver says, I told you, it's dead here. The economy is dead. And this guy, turns out he was from South Korea, been here in the United States about 20 years. But what an interesting perspective. I asked him about the cost of living. You know what it cost, he said, to take 4 people. You go 4 people to McDonald's in Long Beach, California, and each one of you gets a Big Mac meal. Just a plain old Big Mac meal. $76. They're $19 a piece for a Big Mac meal at McDonald's. Is that insane or what? I don't know where it's going to stop. I don't know if it can stop. I know there's been talk, I've heard talk recently about McDonald's trying to come up with a $5 meal item. That'll be interesting. Be a hamburger, but that big around. So anyway, the cost of everything is going through the roof. But when you combine that with people, their appetite for wanting everything now, especially young people, the media and these social media apps and TikTok has made young people think that they can get anything they want for no effort at all. I'm going to get in the comments here in just a sec, but when you were young, if somebody asked you, what did you want to become when you were a grown-up? You want to be a baseball player, an astronaut, a doctor? What did you want to be when you were a child, when you grew up? But drop a comment below. Got a tickle going on. Did you want to become a doctor, a lawyer? I don't know. Drop a comment. Do you know that I read that the average young person today, when asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know what the answer is? A YouTube celebrity. A YouTube celebrity. They want to sit back, make millions of dollars doing stupid stuff, or just talking about something or playing video games. How did we get there? From people that wanted to become an astronaut or play for the, Dallas Cowboys or to now I just want to be a YouTube star. I want to have a TikTok channel. That's what they want to do when they grow up. That just puzzles me. I'm open to any comments. I know I'm an old guy. I know I'm opinionated, but I express the truth, at least what I think I see, and don't try to be ugly. So let's go ahead and look at some comments. I marked some of them. Come on, where are they? There's one. Carolyn Allard. The main reason for people not owning a home is priorities. If you have to have a new car, every channel on your TV, and every new gadget, you will not have the money to buy a home. Lots of people don't want to own because they're wanting to be upwardly mobile for work. Women don't want kids either, opting instead for dogs. I think you're right about people not having their priorities in order, but it's more than that. The cost is just stupid crazy. This Uber driver in Long Beach was telling me, I don't know, 1,100 square foot, a nice home, 1,100 square foot home to rent in Long Beach is $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month for 1,100 square feet. But the women don't want to have kids. I did a video on that. They're called, it's single people. They're dinks and sinks, dinkwads and sinkwads. Dinks is dual income, no kids, D-I-N-K. Sinks are single income, no kids. Sinkwads are single income, no kids with dogs, with a dog. Sinkwads and dinkwads. A lot of people doing that nowadays. Okay. This kind of gets a little bit political. Y'all know that I am a political conservative. I try to be in the middle of the road. I don't think one side is, yay, we have all the answers. But I am a very conservative leaning person, and I am not ashamed to say it. All right, Tim Murr says, if Crooked Joe is not driven out of the White House in November, we won't be able to afford a tent. This country is on the brink of collapse. I can see where you're coming from, Tim Murr. But then also Hoke says, Hokey, do you not understand that if President Biden doesn't get reelected and the pathological liar Trump gets elected, we could lose our democracy? He wants to be a king. He has no morals. Really? Really? He may not have the same morals that you have, Hokey, but you know what? Jonathan Swift, not Taylor Swift, Jonathan Swift, the old author, he had a line that said, there is none more blind than those who will not see. There's none more blind than those who will not see. How can people not see the obvious? Yes, Donald Trump has said some stupid things, embarrassing things. Oh my God, yes. But can you not see the other side? Can you not see it? There are none so blind as those who will not see. Walter, I'm blind. Walter, whatever, says, thank you for your service, but I have to disagree with your opinion on President Trump. I own a business. We fared a lot better under him than the last for years. And I agree with you, Walter. I did much better under Donald T. I really did. Let me know what you think of some of these comments. I do appreciate, drop a comment. I read them all. Keith Gray, old guy, says, just saw a number from RV Trader, and they said that last year there were 21,000 used RVs for sale. This year, 96,000 used RVs for sale. New sales are way down. I think campground may be a little less crowded this summer. I don't think campgrounds are going to be less crowded this summer. And I didn't know that we have from 21 to 96,000. What is that? 4.5 times more RVs for sale this year? I'd like to see that. Keith Gray, old guy, send that to me, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot more RVs for sale right now in RV Trader than there were last year. This is great. Before I go to it, I had mentioned that because young people are being priced out, not everybody, but many young people are being priced out of the housing market, that instead they are looking at RVs because they look really pretty, and young people can't afford the expensive home if they can get a loan, and a lot of banks are still making some very bad loans, I believe. But they'll go buy an RV. It's a terrible financial investment, but if it's the only investment you can make, it's the best of the bad decisions. It's the best decision some people can make. This guy says, are you psycho? Lou Aliberti. Are you psycho? Maybe, I don't know. A house is an appreciating asset. An RV loses 15% as soon as you take it off the lot and falls off a cliff thereafter. What type of advice is this? I wasn't advising anybody to do it. I was just it was just an opinion, Lou. You've got your opinion. I've got mine. A house is not always an appreciating asset. Most of the time it is. Not today. Today the market is topped out. Home prices Home prices nationwide are on their way down. They're not continuing to go up. Now, you may find a little niche of the market, the bottom end of the market. Well, it's gone up. But generally speaking, especially in the big cities and especially the higher priced homes, those prices aren't going up. So what would you call that? It's an asset, but it ain't going up in value like it was and it does traditionally. Will they go back up eventually? Of course they will. And I think that the 15%, RV loses 15% as soon as you take it off the lot. I think it loses 20%, maybe more the instant you take it off the lot. But thank you for your comments. Let's see. Scott Wood. Oh, okay. This is a good one. Now, in the video of May the 5th, I played a voicemail that I had received about a gentleman that had come down from, I believe, Connecticut or Maryland. And he'd come all the way to Texas to one of the RV dealers in the RV Dealers I Trust network. And he came on behalf of his sister. His sister has got stage 4 cancer. She doesn't have long to live, but she's always had the dream of buying an RV, having an RV, seeing her country, while she still feels good enough to do it. And this brother came down to Texas and bought one from RV Station and had a fabulous experience. And I played his voicemail on the air. I was really proud to do it. It's touching. It made me feel good about not just RV Station, but that there are good people out there. Lots of them. And I want to help you find some of them. Anyway, Scott, the person who called me and left that voicemail, says this. Hey, Wingman, I'm the Scott from Maryland in your story. My sister and I had a wonderful experience driving that rig home. She was scared at first of driving such a large rig. I was a tractor trailer driver trainer back in the 90s and knew she'd be fine. After arriving at my home in Maryland, she continued by herself 500 miles more to Plymouth, Massachusetts. I'll remember that experience until my time comes. Scott Wood, you are one cool dude. Telling you, for doing what you did for your sister. Very thoughtful, very, very much. All right, Herd Fan says Americans are going to have to adjust their expectations downward. No one can start at the top in the beginning of their life as an adult. Amen. The economy, look, I'm okay. I'm not struggling. But it's painful. It's painful to go to the grocery store. I went for Mother's Day, whenever it was. I don't do the grocery shopping, but on Mother's Day morning, I went and bought a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, that was how much for that? So every time my wife comes home from the grocery store, she says, you wouldn't believe it. You know how much this is? And I don't really pay attention. But boy, when you got to shell it out of your pocket and you see it firsthand, it is expensive to live. I think people will have to adjust their expectations downward. And that's why many people are selling their sticks and bricks and they're buying an RV. Here's one. That story at the end was heartwarming. Heartwarming? Heartwarming. I just treated my chihuahuas for heartworms. So anyway, heartwarming, very much needed in today's world. It was a heartwarming story, not a heartwarming story. And it's on the May 5th video. Does Wingman, oh, this is a good one. David Johnson asks, does Wingman get a referral commission on the RV sold? And good question. Post the answer if you find out. No, I don't. I say it quite often here on the channel. If you haven't heard it, I'm a retired campground owner. I've RV'd and camped my entire life. I've owned multiple businesses. I've done pretty well, I think, in my businesses. I love working and I love people. And I love looking at things from a high level. And I said, you know what, as a campground owner, there's a lot of people out there that get screwed when buying an RV and owning an RV. But there's some good dealers too. And so I have put together the RV Dealers I Trust network. It's small. I'm working on adding more dealers to it. I'm old and I'm slow, but I've got some dealers that are the best dealers in the country. I do consulting work for them. I do not get a commission. I do not get a finder's fee. I get paid a monthly fee to be a consultant for them. And I tell them things that I think they need to hear, things that they may be afraid to listen to. But the people that I work with are good people. They're honest people. They don't just want the good stuff. And I don't go in and hammer them. I mean, unless I, need to bring up something really negative. But I tell them things that I think that the buyers are saying, customers are saying. And if they think it's a good idea, they can make adjustments. Most of them don't have to make many adjustments at all. But they are good people who are honest. When I got somebody from Massachusetts that drives down to Texas to buy an RV for his sister from where was it? Maryland or Connecticut, wherever she's from, Massachusetts. And they love the experience. Isn't that something to be proud of? I know it sounds like, yeah, how much you get paid to do that? I get paid, whether that guy Scott called or not, I get paid the same. Either way, that's the truth. Ed Young says, oh, we already read that one. Let's go on up. If you got a question for me, drop it in the comments below or call me. I'm going to put the phone number on the screen once again, or shoot me an email. Got a situation? I would love to hear from you. Not all RVs are junk. Not all of them are great. Not all RVers are bad, and not all of them are good. American Traveler says, I think younger generation don't want to live within their means. They want new cars, $1,500 cell phones every year, buy an $8 coffee drink, eat out a lot, and on and on. They never have been educated on how to save for the future. They want it now and are unwilling to sacrifice living within their incomes. But it's not their fault. It's their responsibility, but they were conditioned by, turn on the media. Look at any TV show. Look at the movies, the music videos. Look at any of this. It's, wow, I can have that. I can look like that. That's what cool people do. And they do it. If they can do it, I can do it. The banks go ahead and extend credit. Now credit card debt is at an all-time high. Delinquencies are at an all-time high. Savings that are at an all-time low. I mean, it's no wonder people are in trouble. And I can relate. My daughter wants a new cell phone. She's 31 years old. She says, Dad, I got to get me a new cell phone. Maybe what's wrong with the one you got? I got a couple of cell phones. This one, she says, that one you've got is so old. Look at it. It's old, but you know what? It works. And I don't need to pay the $1,500 for a new one. I certainly don't want to. I don't have the ego to have those. It don't matter. All right, so casket. I love that. Casket. Sure wish you'd pick a side. You promote sales one day, deny you should buy the next day, up, down, then you blame the consumer. Should have be awaited, etc. for the raw deal. Please retire, please. Well, I am retired, casket, and probably won't be long till I am in a casket. But until I am, the side I'm going to pick is what I think is the right side. It's not always the consumer. It's not always the dealer. It's not always the industry. I can't understand how people can't see that. It boggles my mind. When people make these statements about hating this politician or that politician and can't see anything good about the other side. Some people can't see anything good about Donald Trump. Nothing. Not a thing. His health's pretty good. His energy level's pretty good. It's better than my energy level. They can't see that. Nope. It's just all bad. Some people that are Republicans can't see anything good about Joe Biden. I can. I like ice cream too. I do. He's a connoisseur of ice cream. So am I. So I kind of like that about him. All right, here we go. No, as I say, I drip with sarcasm all too often. Robbie McVeigh, not true at all. I have 3 children, all have purchased their own home. Live within your means and save. Dream is still alive. Hard work. Learn to save. Agreed. Sounds easy, does hard, as they say. Kathy Marshall says, I agree. I see young people spending money on frivolous things, eating out, new car every couple of years, leasing a car, new furniture, new this, new that. My husband and I didn't buy new things, nor did we eat out. You also need to know how to fix things. Fixing things is pretty important. It's too expensive to hire things to be fixed. Watch YouTube and learn how to fix things yourself. All this requires discipline. And discipline needs to form discipline. You have to be able to self-audit. I've talked about this before. You've got to stop. You got to look at the truth. Where am I financially? Where am I going financially? I'm not advising anybody to go buy an RV. I'm advising you to self-audit. And if your audit shows up that you can afford an RV, and if you understand what RV ownership requires of you, and you're willing to accept that responsibility, now is a terrific time to buy an RV. It is. But to just rush in and say, well, that's what the Wingman said. I did not say that. I'm almost done. It says something like this won't go away. Wow, I've never heard of a dealership like that one. When I get my motorhome, I will check them out in Florida. Well, again, they're talking about RV Station, which is one of the dealers in the RV Dealers I Trust Network. A link to them is down below in the description. I have a website. It's probably the most simple website you have been to in a long time. It's called RVDealersITrust.com. And if you go there, you'll be able to see dozens and dozens of people standing by their RV with actual phone call conversations between them and me about their experience purchasing and owning RVs from a variety of dealers. They're not all the same. Everyone has their own story, and that's why I did it, so you'd hear real people. You know, there's Google reviews, and everybody says, yeah, I read the Google reviews, but there's only so many you can read. Don't they all kind of start sounding the same? I think they do. I'd like to hear somebody, what they really feel. You can tell by listening to somebody if they're honest, I think. Hopefully you can tell if somebody's full of crap. I think when you get old like we do, our BS detector goes off. Hang on a second. So here's what I want to do. I want to know what you wanted to be when you were a child growing up. Going back to what I started with. Did you want to be an astronaut? I think I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy. If not a Dallas Cowboy, just a real cowboy. I always liked cowboys. What did you want to be when you grew up? And do you find it disturbing at all that kids want to be, a YouTube celebrity or a rich influencer? I think that's the term nowadays. I'd like to hear. I'm going to make one final comment about kids, and this is to their defense. I believe that young people have been lied to their entire lives. First off, they have seen nothing but better, more, and lots of it in their young lives. Since technology came on and these things came around, everything, the computers, the social media, technology, all of their world has just exploded. And mommy and daddy and grandma and grandpa provided all these luxurious things for them. Well, certainly that's going to never end, right? I mean, never going to end. Then they go to school and they're told you can be anything you want to be. You can be a girl if you're a boy. You can be a boy if you're a girl. You can get a student loan. You can go to college. Oh, yeah, go to college. You're going to get a big degree. You're going to make all kinds of money. Just sign right here and move on into the dorm. And kids believe that crap. I believe that college for most people is not the right decision. It's not. Maybe a technical school. I think college for most people is a ripoff. If you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, you're going to, a scientist, a chemist, of course college is important. But for basic degrees, to go in debt like that, to believe some lying counselor, some school that gets paid to put the financial noose around these young people's neck, they'll never be able to get out of. It's a trap. But that's just me. More on that maybe in a future video. All right, I went on very, very long today. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I listen to every voicemail, read every email message. I want to hear from you. My name's Alan Warren. I encourage you to be a better wingman or a better wingwoman to somebody out there. We are the last line of defense, folks. Old farts like me and you. We are the only thing standing in the way between the media and politicians and our kids and grandkids. And I think it's up to us to teach them, to show them, not preach to them, but teach them through our actions that living within our means, learning to fix things, learning to be measured and not instantly jump to a side, learning a little bit of humility, responsibility, keeping our word. All of those things, they have to learn from somebody. Who else is going to teach them if it's not you? All right, as I said, that's it for me. Drop a comment down below. I do appreciate you for joining me. I'm the Wingman, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.